Welcome to my channel, Learn and Earn, to live your life on your own terms. Video on social media. Help us to spread education in this beautiful world. Thank you. You're welcome to my channel, Learn and Earn Academy. And today in this video, we are going to talk about part 5 of Indian Polity by M. Laxmikant, a book summary. Now, this will give you great insight over Indian polity. It's a video series which talks about handwritten notes of all the relevant chapters of this great book. So if you like it, you can press the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share it on social media. Help us to spread education in this beautiful world. So let us start the video. Start the video for the day, which will we start from the budget in the parliament. Now, Constitution refers to the budget as annual financial statement. Budget is estimated receipt of expenditure statement of Government of India in a financial year. The budget contains the following: estimates of revenue and capital receipts, ways and means to raise the revenue, estimates of expenditure, details of actual receipts and expenditure of closing financial year, and the reason for any deficit or surplus. Economic and financial policy of the coming years is also discussed in the budget. Now, what are the constitutional provisions as per which the budget is followed? Now, President shall, in respect of every financial year, cause to be laid before both the House statement of estimate, receipts, and expenditure of Government of India. No demand for grant shall be made except on the recommendation of President. No money shall be withdrawn from the Consolidated Fund of India except under appropriation made by law. No money bill imposing tax shall be introduced in the Parliament except on the recommendation of President, and such bill shall not be introduced in Raj Sabha. Money bill or finance bill dealing with taxation must be introduced in Lok Sabha only. Now, Rajya Sabha has no power to vote on the demand for grants. Now, this is important. Now, stages enactment of bill, presentation of bill, then we have passing of the bill, general discussion, scrutiny, voting of demands of grants, passing of the appropriation bill, and passing of the finance bill. This is the last step. Now, what happens at each stage of the bill, we will study in that. Now, presentation of the bill. Now, bill is presented in two parts: railway budget and general budget. Railway budget presented by Railway Minister in Lok Sabha. Finance Minister presents the general budget with a speech known as budget speech in the Lok Sabha. But now both railway budget and the general budget is presented together. Now, general discussion, begins few days after the presentation of the budget. It takes place both the houses of the parliament. No cut motion can be moved, nor can budget be submitted to the vote of house. Part 3 or the stage 3 is scrutiny by departmental committees. After the general discussion on budget is over, houses are adjourned for 3 to 4 weeks. During this period, the 24 department committees examine and discuss in detail the demand for grants of the concerned ministers and prepare report on them. Now, what is voting on demands for grants? In the light of reports of Department Standing Committee, the Lok Sabha takes up voting of demands for grants. Motion to reduce any demand for grant are called cut motion, which are of three kinds. Policy cut motion, it represents the disapproval of the policy underlying the demand. It states that amount of demand be reduced to ₹1. What is economy cut motion? It represents the economy that can be affected in the proposed expenditure. It states that the amount of demand be reduced by a specific amount. Token cut motion. Now, the fifth stage is the passing of the appropriation bill. No money shall be withdrawn from the Consolidated Fund of India except under appropriation made by law. It is introduced to provide for the appropriation out of Consolidated Fund of India. All money required to mean grants voted by the Lok Sabha and expenditure charged on the Consolidated Fund statement. The appropriation bill becomes the Appropriation Act after it is assented to by the President. This act authorizes the payments from the Consolidated Fund. Now, what do you mean by passing of finance bill? Finance bill is introduced to give effect to the financial proposals of Government of India for the following years. The finance bill must be enacted, that is passed by the Parliament and assented to by the President within 75 days. Now, what are some of the important funds? Consolidated Fund of India under Article 266. It consists of revenue received by the Government of India, all loans raised by government by issue of treasury bills and loans, all money received by government and repayment of loans. Now, all the legally authorized payments on behalf of Government of India are made out of this fund. Now, let's talk about Public Account of India, Article 266. All other public money other than which is credited to CFS received by or on behalf of Government of India shall be credited here. This includes PF deposits, judicial deposits, sovereign bank deposit. This account is operated by executive action. The payment can be made without parliamentary appropriation. Contingency Fund of India, which is defined in Article 267. Now, it is into the Consolidated Fund of India amount determined by the law paid from time to time. This fund is placed at the disposal of the President and he can make advances out of it to meet unforeseen expenditure pending its authorization by the Parliament. Now, fund is held by the Finance Secretary on behalf of the President. Now, what do you mean by multifunctional role of Parliament? What are the legislative powers and function? Now, primary function of Parliament is to make laws. Parliament has exclusive powers to make laws in subject of union list. However, in the following cases, it can make laws on state list also. When Rajya Sabha passes a resolution to that effect, in case of national emergency, in case of president rule, when two or more states make a joint request to the Parliament when necessary to give effect to international treaties. Now let's talk about executive powers and function, financial powers and function, constituent powers and function. This power is not unlimited, it is subject to the basic structure of constitution, judicial power and function, and electoral powers and function. So what are the special powers of Lok Sabha? Now, money bill can be introduced only in Lok Sabha and not Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha cannot amend or reject money bill. It must return the bill within 14 days. Lok Sabha can either accept or reject recommendation of the Lok Sabha. Finance bill class 1 can only be introduced in Lok Sabha, but with regard to passage, both the houses have equal powers. Final power to decide whether a particular bill is money bill or not is vested by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha cannot remove the COM. A resolution for the discontinuance of the national emergency can be passed only by the Lok Sabha and not by the Rajya Sabha. Now, special powers of Rajya Sabha, it can authorize the Parliament to make laws on subject in the state list, Article 249. It can authorize Parliament to create new All India services common to both the centre and states, Article 312. Resolution for removal of Vice President can only be initiated in Rajya Sabha, which is Article 67. Now, let's talk about some of the individual privileges. Now, freedom of speech. No member is liable to any proceeding in any court for anything said within the House and with the permission of the House. Two exceptions to it. It must be with the conformity with the rules of Parliament. An MP can't speak against the conduct of judge of a Supreme Court and High Court. Freedom from arrest. They cannot be arrested during the session of the Parliament in 40 days before and beginning and 40 days after the end of the session. It is available only in civil cases, not criminal cases or preventive cases. Freedom from jury service. They can refuse to give evidence and appear as a witness in a case pending in a court when Parliament is in session. Now, what do you mean by collective privileges? Now, it has the right to publish its reports, debates and proceedings, and also right to prohibits others from publishing the same. It can exclude strangers from the proceedings and held secret sittings. The right to regulate the external affairs of the House and decide about parliamentary business. It can punish members as well as outsiders for breach of its privileges and its contempt. The courts are permitted to inquire into the proceeding of the House or its committee. Now let's talk about certain important features which we have just missed. which is Parliamentary Committee. Now, let's talk about Chairman of Lok Sabha. The legislature has to perform complex and enormous quality of work due to the shortage of time in the parliament, and due in the legislature, and initial work of the parliament is mostly done by the committee appointed or elected for a specific purpose. These committees essentially belong to Lok Sabha and function under the speaker, to whom they submit their report. Parliamentary committee are of two types: standing committee and ad hoc committee, which is joint parliamentary committee is one example. Standing committee are permanent in nature, whereas ad hoc committees are continued for special purpose and they cease to exist after the completion of specific work. The example of standing committees are PAC, committee under the committee, estimate committee, committee on welfare of scheduled caste in scheduled tribes, business advisory committee, rule committee, advisory committee. Joint parliamentary committee is a committee of ad hoc committee. Now, what is estimate committee? It consists of 30 members, all from Lok Sabha. All parties in the Lok Sabha are given proportional representation in the committee. The chairman of the committee is appointed by the speaker from among its members. A minister can be a member of this committee if any member of this committee is appointed as the member of, he ceases to be the member of his committee. A term of his office is 1 year. Functions: to report on the efficiency of the policy underlining the estimate, to examine whether the money is well laid out within the limits of the policy complied in the estimate, to suggest the form in which the estimates are to be powered with the presented in the parliament. Now, we also have Public Account Committee, which is PAC. It contains 22 members, 15 from Lok Sabha and 7 from Rajya Sabha, elected through single transferable vote in both the houses. The chairman was selected by speaker from among the Lok Sabha members of the Public Account Committee. By cooperation, the speaker appoints a member of the opposition party as the chairman of the committee. The minister could be a member of the committee. If any member is appointed as minister, he ceases to be the member of this committee. The term of office is 1 year. Functions: to examine an account showing the appropriation granted by the parliament to meet the expenditure of the government of India, to examine the annual financial statement of the government of India and other accounts laid before the house, to examine the report of comptroller and auditor general of India. Now, what do you mean by Public Undertaking Committee? Now, it consists of 22 members, 15 from Lok Sabha and 7 from Rajya Sabha, elected by means of single transferable vote. Vote is both the houses. The chairman of the committee is appointed by the speaker from amongst the Lok Sabha members of the committee. A minister can't be a member of this committee, and if any member of the committee becomes the minister, he ceases to be the member of the committee. Now, what are the important functions of this committee? To examine the report of accounts of public sector undertaking, to examine the efficiency and autonomy of public sector undertakings, to examine other specific subjects or matters referred to it by the House of the Speaker. So I hope this video lecture series would have really helped you to gain a lot of insights over this important topic. So if you like this video, you can press the like button, subscribe to my channel and share this video on social media. Help us to spread education in this beautiful world. Thank you.